to Struggle, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast. On this week's episode, Aubrey and I are going to do probably what every other podcast out there is doing, and that's recapping Adepticon because you know what? That was a thing and kind of a big thing. So we're going to do that big thing and talk about that big thing because that's what we do on these podcasts. So let's jump into it. Aubrey, how you doing? Have you gotten any games in this week? Because I know you had like tons of time to sit there and get games in after we came back from Adepticon.
Oh, yes, absolutely. It definitely was not an entire week spent getting caught up on a week's worth of work and emails and all kinds of stuff, not to mention a week's worth of laundry, a week's worth of chores, a week's worth of family things that happened while I was gone. Nah, I just went to the game shop and just played 15 games instead.
That's what you should have been doing. That's the thing that was the right answer. Whether your fiance allows you to do that or not is a different story, but that was the right answer. And I didn't do any of those things either. I came home and I've been working on trying to get some of the videos edited. So I got like today, I got uh, round 1 and 2 of Heat 1 kind of separated out from like the main live feed and put those out for everyone to watch in case they don't want to go digging for individual matches and stuff like that. So I'll try and do that, but for those who are impatient, they can just go and watch the like the live feeds and everything along those lines and see all that good stuff.
Oh,
But
yeah,
yeah, any
no,
other
Todd.
hobby stuff you're doing? Or...
Didn't you last year like get like all the videos done in like a 48-hour period or something insane? Like I'm glad you're taking a more reasonable pace. Or am I misremembering? Was that Tim from
No,
PCN?
no. I mean, I was running pretty quick into all of those as well. I think I was putting a lot of like trying to get those out as quickly as possible. And part of the reason for that though was like last year, we were under PCN, not on our own. So like in order to get them out, I had to sit there and get the videos sent to me from PCN because we were broadcasting on his YouTube channel at the time instead of ours, because we were kind of just getting up and running at that point in time. So there was like a lot going on with all of that. So it was basically like there was a whole different reason behind it. I don't even know if it's necessary to break those out, other than I mean it might be for people's, because I've been like putting the whole list out there and what mission they're on into the description so people can actually like see that right when they're jumping into the video. So I think that might be more of a convenience factor for people that wanted to watch videos and stuff.
I, I am still amazed. Like do just a general shout out to some of the other content creators for doing such a great job. Admittedly, they were not working on live streaming it. Okay, fine, but like over there at Rogue Support, they already had a video up with an or not a video, uh podcast up analyzing most of what had already taken place during Adepticon. Fifth Trooper, right? Was I think it was Fifth Trooper already had that like top 8 breakdown
Well, you
already.
do know who wrote that though, right? For Fifth Trooper,
Well,
that was the guy that
well,
took
yeah, it was
second
bad.
place in the event. That was Matt.
Yes, yes, but but I'm sorry. I watched Matt play. Matt had some very difficult matches. My brain would have been jello after all of that. I certainly would not have been like, you know
that
what, I'm gonna do an in-depth analysis of the entire top 8 and everything that just happened to me.
that's kind of what I'm saying. That's where I'm going with that whole statement. Is that man? He sat there, played an entire worlds, and then immediately turned around and wrote the article. Wrote an article. So I'm like, did he not sleep on the plane ride home and just wrote that article? So like, hey, kudo, hats off to him with that. Right, like with that. Like, but yeah, Rogue Support, like Omnis picking it up, and Dizzard apparently doing an April Fool's podcast telling everybody he's leaving Shatterpoint because he filled in on an MCP podcast for April Fools. Basically, it was hilarious. But yeah,
What? I didn't
I
know.
was like, I
I
started.
didn't know that.
Yeah, he filled in on a podcast called Danger Room that I listened to on the MCP side, and I'm like, I'm listening to it in a Dizzard, and like he starts out saying, I've left another podcast, leaving Shatterpoint to come over there, and I'm like, what? And then I realized it was released on April 1st. I'm like, oh, you got me. But yeah, it was pretty good
April
as far as all
1st,
that's
April
concerned. So
1st gets me.
right,
There's always one thing.
right. Oh yeah, I mean, like it was funny. Like I had two of the my employees at work basically like called me up and said we're retiring, and I'm like, no, you're not. I mean, I was like, like so like normally it doesn't get past me, but I was like, I was driving home after a long day at work and listening to that. I'm like, oh, you got me, Diz. So cats off to Dizzard on that one. But no, like a lot of great content out there and everything. You've been
Yeah,
doing anything
yeah.
else
No,
like other than
I'm
like
just a
working on your 3D printing?
nope, nope. Just trying to get some more 3D printing done, get some things cleaned up, and I mean, I did kind of make a mess of our kitchen table when I came in from Adepticon. So acting like just dumping everything out, and like I was showing the family like some of the stuff I got and talked to them about the trip. Like I came back to an unexpected but nice like little birthday party with just the family. And Talia got me. I actually have them. If you're on the YouTube, I got some new bracelets. Um, it's like aquamarine and like tiger's eye hematite stuff. Got that. My coworkers actually got me a whole Star Wars thing. Oh, I forgot to put it in the Discord. I'll have to find that picture and drop it in the Discord. One of my coworkers got me like a Star Wars water bottle and some socks and a little music box that does like the Star Wars theme. Like that was actually pretty wild. And it's got like little etchings of like Kylo Ren and Chewbacca and a couple of the other characters on the sides. So I kind of like belatedly celebrated my birthday. I mean, shout out to the purest of Christophers for bringing me some goodies too at Adepticon for my birthday. I don't even think did we even mention it was my birthday on the stream? That's how busy we were. I don't even think we said
I don't
anything
think we
about
even
that,
said it.
right?
No, I don't think we mentioned it. We might
No.
have.
So
I don't
happy
remember.
birthday
I'd
to
have to
me.
go back and listen. Right? I think we'd have to go back
I
and
don't
listen to it. I'm
I don't
almost
think we
positive we said
did.
something.
Uh or
Oh, yep.
maybe
I can't
we
remember.
just mentioned it and chat was talking about. Well, see, this is my point. I don't know how like Matt like I could at least understand Omnis. He's armchairing it right from home, but I have no idea how Matt got a coherent article out of all of that because I'm just like
That's what I'm
playing
saying.
catch up
Yeah. I
with the
mean, like
rest of my
he was
life.
Omnis was at home, not playing in the event, so he was fine. But like you look at like Matt flying home, it's like holy moly, how did you make it? How did you do that?
Right?
Just
Yeah.
wild.
But I mean,
But yeah.
uh
So
I'm
no,
just
other than that,
trying to think if we had any other nah, not no other hobby stuff going on, not for me anyway.
okay. Yeah, I mean, like I think that's the same here. I'm like basically just doing stuff like trying to catch up on some of the painting and everything that I have around when I can. So doing a little bit of painting. I wanted to try and get Vader finished up from Adepticon in between all of the other stuff that I'm doing. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know.
Dude, that Vader looked really good for you, limiting yourself to just the new AMG paint box from Pro Acryl and doing it while on stream. I could barely keep the stream and the chat together. I don't know how you were also painting, Todd, although, ADHD baby.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of touch up work that needs to be done, and like I'm probably go back and do more of the highlights and stuff like that. But I think it'll at the end of the day, I think he'll end up turning out pretty good.
Yeah.
So one of the things I wanted to do, because like I think we've been like kind of hurting on like shouting out like community stuff and everything like that. And I think we need to like I wanted to kind of like after being at Adepticon, maybe jump back into like kind of like looking into like what's going on around the country and kind of give shout outs out to like upcoming events and like specifically for me, like one of the things that I was like looking through like some of the upcoming longshanks and stuff. Um I know our friends up in Ontario. They're doing great things up there, running their community. So I know Critical Hit Gaming up there. They're doing a Battle of the Boost, like not this weekend, but next weekend on the 12th. They already it looks like I was looking at it. They have 11 people already signed up for that event, which is huge. Our friend Dion over in Minnesota's running his monthly event. He's got 6 players already signed up for that. So if you're in the Minnesota area, definitely go see Dion. I know he put some together some really great stuff out there as well. It looks like in Ohio they have like a 8 player event going on at BDG. So like that might be pretty cool, like at roundtable games. So like looks like they're getting some good events going on. You definitely want to, go out and see all those players and all of the things that they're doing. One thing I noticed, the West Coast GT up there in British Columbia right now only has 4 players signed up for it, and that's a GT. Definitely, if you're in that area, you definitely want to try and support the community by at least going to that GT as well, because it's like that's starting on the 18th and 19th of next of this month. So we're only like 2 weeks away from like the time of recording of that event. So hopefully, like they get some more players out there, because that's for a GT, you want to sit there and see more players coming out for that,
Especially since you get really good prize support for those GTs. Like I am really like
right?
we got the announcement spoilers at Adepticon of the new tournament kits that stores are going to be able to get their hands on, but the GT prize support is really really good. And I don't know, Todd. If I know nerds the way I think I do, they go sign up like 2 days beforehand. That's the real problem.
Yeah, sometimes I do. So I mean, like, I guess that's kind of why I'm like throwing it out there. It's like, there is a GT that's probably happening out there that you might want to go and see and take a look at like at some point in time. So hopefully, like they get a little more support though out there. And then like I also saw like at Huzzah Hobbies out in Virginia, they already have 10 players signed up for an event at the end of the month. And then kind of rounding out, like going into the beginning of next month, the big one that's going to be, I think, in North America that I can tell is our friends again up in Canada over in Ontario. The Table Bound Open. They have 28 players already signed up for that at Critical Hit. So that's Sean and Kyle over at probably are the ones heading that up. They're on. We got a chance to hang out with them at Adepticon as well. So by all, like if you're in the Canada area, especially on the eastern side of Canada, or the northeast part of the country, definitely like if you can get over to Canada to play some Shatterpoint, I think that's going to be a big event there at the Table Bound Open. It looks like they have 4 more slots available right now, so hopefully they can hit the cap on that one. That'd be really great for those guys up there, for Sean and Kyle.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know at least was it weren't there like two or three of the table bound guys running around at Adepticon? I'm
Well,
trying to
yeah,
remember,
that
Todd.
was Sean. Yeah, Sean and Kyle were definitely there. They're both from Table Bound and work there, so it's got to be at least those two.
Right, right. Okay. I thought there was another person, but I don't know. Anyway, I you know how I am with names and faces. I forget my own face, so try to remember everybody else's is difficult.
It is. It is a lot. But yeah, no. So like definitely like those are some of the events that kind of like I said jumped out at me, kind of scrolling through some of the upcoming events. And like if you're in the Arizona area, we're starting up our MCP, or I'm sorry, our MCP, our Shatterpoint League. We
Wrong
already
game.
have
Wrong game.
27 players signed up. Right, all right. We already have 27 players signed up. So like definitely, if you want to just get in some fun casual games,
Yay.
we're gonna have some really cool prize support for that. So definitely do that. And then also in Arizona, one of the guys that was on the stream with us, Jake, he's running his event. He's running basically it's going to be First Contact Showdown. So basically running an event where everyone has to play First Contact, the new mission pack that just dropped. So and he's got 9 players signed up for that one, and I don't think I'm even signed up for that one yet. As long as I can get away and I don't have a track meet for my daughter, because it's getting to the end of track season and I can't remember when state is, and there's like 2 big track meets coming up, and it might be that weekend. So as long as it's not that weekend, I'm going to get out there.
Yeah, my month of April, it turns out. I thought April was gonna be a catch up month for me. No, 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 no. I'm busy tomorrow. I'm busy. I'm gone the next weekend. I work the follow or well, actually, no, I don't even maybe work the following weekend. I have to try and see if I could switch shifts with somebody because there's a we call it a rumble. It's where like two different schools go and compete in like a sparring competition, and this is the first one in like a long time, so I wanted to go to that, but I worked that day, so I might try to switch things. But then that doesn't mean I'm free. That means I'm just busy in a different way. So, oh, the month of April, month of April.
The joys of being an adult and all of the things that come along with it. It just that's what it is. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I think what we were going to be looking at is kind of what our experiences were at Adepticon. I mean, we had a long week. We flew out Tuesday, and like hit the ground running Wednesday morning, set up cameras. We live streamed your game just to kind of get like all the kinks worked out and everything like that. So I mean, like I know for you, you had I'm sure you have a lot of things you want to kind of talk about. What are some of the highlights that you wanted to talk about?
Oh, no, 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 no. But before we do highlights, I want to express appreciation to the entire universe and whatever karma we built up, because the only issues we had with the stream were on the day we were testing and kicking the tires, and yeah, there was a lot of things like remember how we kind of set up like 3 different times because of all the weird things that were going wrong. Like, but it all happened on that day.
Yeah,
Nothing happened after that.
right. Right. Yeah. Like, oh, we need a Discord. Okay, maybe we can find like finding a place to get an Amazon Dropbox to drop off like one cord that we just happen to need and like to run an extension and get the shot that we wanted and yeah, like just all the little things that came up and everything. So yeah, it was nice. I'm glad it ran as smoothly as it did and like we were able to. I think getting in early to like set up everything. It was so funny because like we were right next to the X-wing guys and X-wing, their podcast, the podcast and the people that stream it are Gold Squadron. Um, and if anybody knows on the X-wing side, they've been doing this for a long time. They have a huge following. I mean, like I was looking at their numbers compared to like our numbers. They have like 4 times the amount of viewers that we had, and we did well. But it's like they just have that kind of a following. Whereas like they had tons of views, tens of and but they came in literally like 6 o'clock at night and we're set up by like 8 and we were there at like noon and we're like maybe set up at 8. Like they could do it in a quarter amount of time that we did. They were just like they had it down to a science.
Some of that was we had issues that were kind of beyond our control that we had to fix. But well, anyway, you're fair. It's fair. Also, remember Todd, how X-Wing's been going on for like a decade. I would hope they would have more people follow. Like this game's in year 2. We got time. We got time.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it like we did anything like we're worse off or anything like that. This is a brand new game, so the fact that we're, even able to stream it and do what we're doing is great in my mind.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, let's see. What was the question you asked me? Because I was like, well, no, no, no. We have to talk a
Well,
little
so
more
like
about setup because that was a wild.
yeah, no, I mean, so yeah, there was that. I mean, I guess before we even go into like the other piece of it, I do want to sit there and before we go any farther, basically thank the people at Adepticon, Hank, and the judge team, Chris, and all of the guys on Chris, Joe, all the judges, as well as AMG for allowing us to come out and live stream again and kind of bring this game to everybody out there. I mean, it's always an honor to be able to sit there and be part of that. So I hope we did well enough to and to for the honor it was to sit there and be able to do that. So I'm hoping that we at least lived up to somewhat of an expectation of what the quality was that I think we should be living up to for those for those two organizations. But the question, I
Oh,
guess, oh, go ahead.
yeah, yeah. No. I was just gonna jump on your bandwagon there for a sec. No, it's an awesome experience. If you have not gone to go to Adepticon, I mean, we did our best to try and bring Adepticon to you. But if I was going to plan one maybe more expensive tabletop wargaming trip out there, I would do Adepticon because it is just so massive. It's weird because we're in a bigger space, so you have the optical illusion of it not feeling as massive, but then I have to remind
Right.
myself that we're in a room like what twice maybe it's not twice the size, but it's like 100 like 150 160% larger or something like that. And so it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, all right, like this, there's a lot of people doing a lot of gaming here. I mean, we had the largest ever, Shatterpoint event right there.
Yeah. I mean, we were in like the top that we were on the third floor and we were all the way on like the south side of the building, so like the south half, and we were only a small part of that. You take into account that there was another half of the building and two other floors of the full building. You had the ballroom. Like if I went back and I was like started to see pictures of, if you go look at pictures of Adepticon, there's like a ballroom where there was board games going on. I mean, there was so much that we didn't even see. So like, yeah, it's pretty wild, like the amount of stuff that we had going on there. So yeah, I mean, it was pretty crazy. It's a big convention. There's always something to do. You can, I mean, you can find other people's YouTubes and Instagrams and all the other stuff and see all the really cool stuff that they did. So totally worth looking and seeing everything out there. I think there's something for everybody. Um I ended up like so I just to kind of go on a side tangent, I ended up going like standing outside, I think it was like Saturday night, and we were all wearing all of our I was wearing the, our shirt. Like and the Momentous Struggle t-shirts that my wife had made for us. And I'm wearing it, and someone was walking past and basically like saw it and thought it was one of the coolest things. And him and I started chit chatting about the game, and he ended up coming by, watching the game like on Sunday, watching the top four and everything along those lines. And he ends up like eventually following us on Instagram. So I go and like go to follow him back, and I'm looking at his Instagram. Turns out this guy is an artist and sculptor and has won an Emmy award for for his sculpting work, because he's done like artwork for like Game of Thrones. Like he's, I was looking on his website. He's done artwork for Game of Thrones. He's done it for Disenchanted. I think there was The Power of the Ring. Like there's just all of these different things that you see that he's done artwork with. And I'm like, I was talking to this guy, I didn't even know who he was. And it turns out I'm like, oh, you're kind of a big deal.
Okay, that just makes me want to jump ahead to just a quick anecdote. I ran into that same problem where I was having a conversation with one of the AMG employees and another person, and they're going back and forth talking about industry stuff. And I eventually figured out, wait, this guy that we keep talking to, because I'm like in the conversation, we're talking about different games, and I was like, wait, you're like this. I was like, wait, who are you? Yeah, it turned out he was the CEO of a pretty large gaming company, and he's just sitting there chatting away. And I'm like, I'm thinking he's just like, because a lot of the people we deal with are like mid level or maybe upper level, but like there's always they've always got a boss, right? Like there's always somebody somewhere above them. No, this guy
Right.
was the CEO. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. So yeah, you will just run into people nonchalantly talking away like this is no big deal, because the gaming industry is, relatively small, so to speak, so that everybody kind of knows everybody. And I'm just sitting here as this, content creator going, oh yeah, this is a really interesting conversation. Oh wait, who are you? You've been doing what for 15 years? Oh, okay. All right.
Right. That's the funny thing about the whole thing, man.
So that is a
But yeah,
trip.
that's
That is
awesome. I mean, like
the kind of thing that'll happen.
exactly, like sometimes you just meet people and you don't even realize who you meet or anything like that. So no, I mean, I guess, and that kind of like, I guess, jumps into the stories of kind of like, what were some of the experiences that you had that like kind of like stuck out in your mind for Adepticon? Was there anything like you're like, man, this was like a cool experience, like that you're just gonna like, you want to share, I guess, with other people?
Uh, all right. So again, like I guess I'm just gonna keep leaning into like the experience of Adepticon, because again, new location. They moved to a new place. We weren't exactly sure what we were gonna expect this year, because it was very the old location was very insular, right? You really didn't leave unless you absolutely had to, because you basically had to Uber anywhere you went. You only left if you like basically if you needed something that wasn't already available. Otherwise, you're basically in the convention center, the hotel and everything, and you just don't leave. You barely see the sun. You go outside to find the sun. No, this new location, we're in downtown Milwaukee. There's several hotels all within spitting distance of the convention site. So a lot of people are coming from different directions. So you start to hear about, oh, I found this restaurant over here, or did you see that pub over there, or is like people are comparing notes, trying to figure things out. And I just have to say, like, for starters, it was a really nice experience because we basically got up. I mean, there was a shuttle bus you could take to and from like our hotel, thankfully. But we most of the time just walked along the river, walked over to the con, and there's all these cool little restaurants and shops and things. I mean, shout out to the pharmacy that was really close to the convention site, because I swear we went in there half a dozen times between needing cords or needing meds or needing just snacks or like that place saved us. But then the thing I really want to shout out is that Third Street Market that was almost on top of the con. Because not to say that the convention site and the convention and the stream and everything we did was awesome, but I think my favorite part was like everybody slowly figuring out that Third Street Market was the place to be, and everybody just kind of showing up there until it culminated in our Rogue Support Momentous Struggle in meetup that we did on Saturday. But again, that place we were like, oh, there's a German restaurant we could try. Oh, there's this Irish pub over here. It looks like it's got like dollar wings or whatever. Nope, we just went back to Third Street Market every time because they had like, what was it, like 15 different restaurants in there?
Yeah, there's like 15 different like places that you could order food and they would make your food. They had like what was it? They had wings, they had pho, they had ramen, they had hot dogs, they had popcorn. They had so many different options. It was unbelievable. And then, like for me, my favorite was there was a self-serve beer wall where basically there was like well, probably like 20 different types of beer. You basically went up, got a card, and then you use this card and you just self-serve pour yourself your own beer. Holy moly, was that amazing. And it was pretty cheap. Like shout out to Dizzard. Like if you go there, they had like it's probably going to change now, but they had a really good sour and it was like $1. It was like $6 a pint. I mean, and so I was drinking on those all day long because those were great. Like $6 a pint is like I could have two or three pints, and for like I think I was like less than $20 like every night, and so I was good. That was the place as far as like food. I think everyone kind of figured that one out at some point in time.
Oh yeah, it just got busier and busier as the convention went on. Like I mean, and not just con attendees. Like you could tell there was a lot of locals, a lot of people that they're like, nope, this is where we want to be. Uh, and and they had stouts for me, Todd. I was so happy.
Yep.
Uh, uh needed my
Yeah,
dark
they
beers.
had every kind of
So
beer you could think of. Yeah, they had every kind of beer.
yeah. Oh, and the ramen place. Izzy and I. Yeah. Again, shout out to Izzy and Jake, who they were troopers. This was not only was this their first Adepticon, they were basically doing what I did last year, where I'm like, okay, what's happening? What is all this stuff? Oh, by the way, you're getting thrown in the deep end. Let's go figure out the stream. They did a great job, especially
Yeah,
especially seeing as we didn't quite know exactly how everything was going to go either.
yeah, it was a new convention hall. Like a lot of changes from the year before. I mean, like we couldn't rely on like what we knew from last year, and everything like that. I mean, things I think went a lot smoother, simply from just like relationships buildings with Chris and his judge team. And we're really close to like Tisdale and his judge team over with MCP, and then of course Hank and all of his team over there at Adepticon. I mean, like the relationships that we've been able to like slowly build over time has been amazing. And of course, our friends over at PCN at Professional Casual Network and all the stuff that they do too. I mean, like just all of the people like all working together, even if you're not directly related to like one part of the convention, like everyone working together to make sure that this show goes off really well. And I think that's one of the great things about the Adepticon as a whole is that it's just so many people working together with a common goal in mind of everyone having a good time at the convention hall. So I think and that's what it makes it really special, is like you don't like everyone's just so focused on that mission.
Oh, yeah. You there definitely wasn't a, I don't know, a division or rivalry, cuz I mean, we even, one of our locals is the TO for the Games Workshop stuff next door. We were helping out there. There's just it feels, I don't know. It just feels good. It feels like everybody just kind of does. I'm sorry. It feels good. Everybody helps everybody. I mean, I remember at one point I had to grab Chris for some random thing. Like he was like in mid jog somewhere, doing his own thing, and I was like, "Hey, Chris, I need blah blah blah." And he's like, "Yeah, I got it," and he got it. But then he came back around. And he's like, "All right, here you go." Like that. That's the kind of thing that was happening the whole time, and not just with us. Sometimes you'd go talk to. You'd be talking to like the Legion streamers, or we'd be talking to the X-wing guys, uh, and you'd be like, oh, even something crazy like super glue. I'm like, yep, here you go. There's super glue. Bring it back over here. You're
Right.
fine. Like, and then I lose the super glue. Well, that's a different part of the
Right.
story.
Yeah,
But
I mean, like when we were setting up, like I went over, I was like walking over just to check on the Legion guys, and they needed help, like actually like shifting their entire table and everything like 90 degrees. So he was the only one over there at the time, so I was over helping him. So yeah, I mean that's kind of what it is like you just kind of you help out everybody and everything along those lines. So it was great. I mean, like I said, the convention's amazing. It's like if you go, be prepared to spend a lot of money on stuff, because there's so much cool nerd stuff that you're just going to want to buy it all. So I mean, luckily for us, we're so busy working that we don't have time to spend money.
yes, one bit of advice I did not give to save you money later: pack like an extra bag and or extra containers, or extra, make sure there's room in your bag. Don't fill up your bag all the way, because like I did not go to this con with the intention of getting very many things, and then it turned out that Cassian and Krennic boxes were floating around the hall. And then it turned out that like somebody just rolled up and gave me this print that I then had to get home. And then I may have decided to buy the Ahsoka Invader box just because I wanted it. So make sure you don't do what I did. And Izzy and I had to go find a store with a bag because he had boxes, I had boxes. We had one more checked bag that we could do, and I was like, all right, well, I guess we're going shopping for a duffel bag so that we can get everybody's stuff home. So there's my post con advice. Let's see. Pack scissors, pack extra glue, pack, well, not, sorry, not scissors, the what do you, snippy snips, pack
Your
stuff,
snips
you
for
don't expect.
models, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because there were people. Do you remember? There were people who they took the Kit Fisto box, or the Krennic box, or the Cassia box, and they're like, "I'm gonna put it together. I'm gonna paint it. I'm gonna bring it back down to the floor." I'm like, "When did you sleep?"
right, right. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. A lot of that going on. So yeah, you definitely want to pack for every possible outcome of things, and make sure, like I said, you went to Kohl's because luckily there was a Kohl's down in downtown Milwaukee that you could just walk into and buy a duffel bag. So I mean, like that's one of the weird things, is like there's actually like department stores and stuff like within walking distance of the convention center. So it's pretty interesting, like the options that we have. I mean, I can't say much. Like right across the street from the convention center in downtown Phoenix is a whole fries marketplace now. Like you can just a full grocery stores down there. So it's not abnormal, I guess, for that nowadays. But yeah, I mean that would be. But as far as like convention wise, like just be prepared. There's going to be a lot of stuff to go. But I mean, we had a great time, a lot of cool stuff. So as far as games though, I mean, was there any games that kind of jumped out at you that we had on stream that were just like, oh, I have to talk about this one?
There is one, but before we do, wait, Todd, you didn't answer your own question. What was your favorite part?
of the whole convention, I mean, I was so busy on stream. Like that was the thing, is like I had like I for me, I think probably like my highlight is always seeing PCN, because I don't get to see those guys very often. So from the MCP side of things, but also seeing like all of our listeners that we don't get to see except for maybe once or twice a year, like hanging out. I think for me the best part was like probably our after party hang that we did with Rogue Support, and all of the listeners that got to hang out with them and actually like have a beer with everybody, like because Cody Hawkins was there, we had Sean, Ray from up north. I mean, there were so many people that like we only get to see at LVO and Adepticon. Sarah Cruel, of course, like I mean, and he's just in Nevada, so we'll probably get to see him maybe once or twice more than that. But getting to see all of those people, Qui-Gon Jinn, then that we haven't seen, like I haven't met him in person, so getting to meet him, got to meet Accuser for the first time. There's just like, I think for me there was like that hang was probably like the best part of the entire weekend for me.
Yeah, Mountain Mike. We met
Okay,
at
so on to
LVO, and
games. What's your
then
favorite game? Mountain Mike, yeah, get
fine,
to see him again too. Yeah.
fine. Odd to get everyone. Todd is very focused. He's like, let's talk about the game. Apparently we're supposed to talk about Shatterpoint on our Shatterpoint podcast. All right, fine, fine. All right. So hands
Somewhat.
down, uh, hands down for me, I think my. I mean, I don't know if I want to call it my favorite game because I literally had to go take a walk to clear my head after that game, and I didn't even play in it. Was the game during the heat with Sarah Cruel and what was his opponent's name? It was the round that I was eyes in the sky for. Let me see if I could bring it
What
up.
would you remember what day
It
it
was
was?
Yeah, it was the day it was the I believe it was Heat 2, right? Because it was the second day and it was the second round. It was the one uh where they had a 90-minute struggle one. Do you remember
Oh
that one
God,
with
I think,
Sarah
what is that?
Cruel?
I I remember that one. I don't remember who he was playing though. Cause yeah,
I'm
that
gonna
one
see.
was like, it was so intense. Cause it was like, yeah, I'm like, I just remember watching the clock going, oh my God, when are they gonna get, when are they gonna get this done? When are they gonna get this done? When are they gonna get this done?
Yeah,
It
because
was,
I was terrified. Oh, it was against Merlin. That's right. It was the Merlin game where it was Mando Mando and Grand Admiral Thrawn versus Kanan and PLC on Never Tell Me. And it was I cannot, like, the only the mistake that was made, and I wish they had called a judge and you told them to call a judge, but they did call a judge, was that whole thing with Ezra's informant ability where Sarah Cruel resolved the ability instead of his opponent. But don't listen to that part of the story. That is a minor part of the story. As both players said, they're like, we've never really interacted with this ability that much, but here we go, it's happening. This is the corner case where we're actually doing this ability. But the rest of that game, I don't think they made a single mistake the whole time. Like, it was just grueling. I don't think there was any way for them to, like, they both played so evenly. That's why it took 90 minutes to get through struggle 1, because neither a player gave an inch the entire time, and then they got through 2 struggles in less than 30 minutes.
right. It was, that was a wild game. I do recall that one, and it was just like, oh my gosh, so long. Like I was stressing about like if they were going to be able to get like to through struggle 2 because of like how long it, because it was like they finished struggle, I think they finished struggle 1, and like literally when they were their first, like when they're flipping the objectives to the new locate to struggle 2 was when they called mission critical.
Oh man, that is still one of, like, I don't care if you watch any of the other games. I would go and watch that game because that was like a master class in 2 hours of how to stay cool under pressure, how to deal with the fact that neither of you have given up an inch, and also how to close the game out in a timely fashion when you need to, because nobody was going deep into the tank too much that I remember. Because I never remember thinking, "Ooh, we're running out of time here. You need to make a decision." No, they were just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and just some great gameplay. I mean, I get I'm probably a little biased because of Sarah Cruel. We love you, Sarah Cruel, but I don't care. That game, I felt the stress and intensity just being the one relaying information to to you, and was Jake on that round? I think it was. I don't
I
know.
think it was
Watch
Jake.
the video. But I was like, I need a break. I need to go like outside. I need to look at the sky. I need to reorient. That was so much. Ooh.
There was a lot. It was a lot. Yeah, that was a crazy game. Yeah, I definitely recall that one. I think for me, and again, this is probably bias again, but it was probably the Nick, our local. He ended up taking sixth in worlds. His top 16 match that he played. I guess it was like technically that was the our top 32, I should say, but that was technically his top 16 match against Daniel Johnson, where he was playing PLC Moff Gideon. So like because he has just a really unique list in general, with what he's playing, because he like his four primaries were Lord Maul, Moff Gideon, Princess Leia Charming to the last, and Kanan. So basically, it was like Maul, Crosshair, Fifth Brother, Gideon with the Gideon DTE Dark Trooper, so Gideon box basically, PLC with Callus and Rebel Commandos, and then Kanan with Ezra and Chopper. So he could go like a very Spectres kind of heavy list with that Callus, but like in that game, he basically ran the PLC with Moff Gideon, and that was just like a really really cool match, and like kind of watching him play it. I think there was the insight that we had because Jake was actually his brother was actually commentating on that as well. So like that combination of having like that deep insight of the player, like probably like more insider information than most people would probably have in most cases, and how he was going to play was pretty cool. I mean, and it was just so funny because like Jake, like I remember during the game was like, yeah, I've seen his dice luck for 25 years, and like lo and behold, like he just like Nick comes out the gate just rolling crits like crazy. It was like, okay, okay, I see you, Nick. I see what you got going on over there.
Yeah, yeah. Not to discount what he did because he did very well overall, but it was hilarious to hear hear Jake. I was like, oh, I really hope we get him on the stream and Jake commentating because yeah, you got a little bit of the behind the scenes there. Like you could tell yeah, they I think Jake was having a good time getting to do that. And you know what? Nick kept it together. I don't know how well I could. I mean, I'm an only child, so I don't have a lot of experience. I don't have any experience with this, but I imagine it must. It's got to be a little harder to know that the whole time you're playing in worlds, your brother is over there talking about what you're doing like that. That would have distracted me a little bit, and Nick did not let it distract him. Clearly,
I mean, to be fair, I definitely like requested that match. I mean, because like I wanted Nick to be on stream and his brother commentating, and but the other part was again to be completely um transparent about my desire to get what I want in some cases. Like because Nick, if he would, if his like not Nick, but if like Daniel Johnson, he was playing against purest of Christopher's Chris Sampson in the round beforehand. And if Chris would have won that game, it would have been like an Arizona duel to the death between Nick and Chris. So like nothing against Daniel Johnson, and I hope you like don't take this the wrong way, but we were kind of pulling for Chris just because he was our local guy and wanted to see like the local matchup on a big stage like that. But I mean, beating Chris like that more hats off to you because he's an amazing player. I know Chris has definitely kicked my teeth in a couple times.
Oh, yeah. No, that actually. So, this game was pretty new at last Adepticon, and so sometimes on the stream we saw things be a little loosey goosey because nobody had the rules completely down. We were all still learning the game. Let me tell you, the players at Adepticon this year, they leveled up their game because I mean, some like I, again, I could quibble over minor things. I know I've already listened to some of the podcasts and I've heard, better players than me talk about like certain lines and different things that they were thinking about. That's fine. But from being on the ground and watching the games, there was some high caliber in that room. No, you should feel proud if you got a net positive result overall because everyone brought their A game. Nah, no, they brought their S game. S for Star Wars. There you go.
But yeah, I mean, like, even if you look at like the top 32, I mean, some of the people that went out early in the top 32, Matt Booker, the defending champ from Adepticon. He lost in the first round, I mean, and he's no slouch. Chris Sampson, again, a pretty well known player. Sarah Cruel, Iceman Dean B, Godliness's brother. So he lost. Red Wolf lost in round one. I mean, of the top 32, we had a ton of amazing players that just didn't make it out of the first round of the event. So I mean, it's wild to sit there and look at that. I mean, there's just so many good players that like just did like just kind of kept on getting hit. Oh yeah, Sith Emperor Kevin, he lost in the first round. Lastromac, who's Holden, a local to us, he lost in the first round. There's just so many great players that just like they made it to the top 32, and that you had to go 3-1, 4-0 to get there. But then even when they got there, it was like, man, the competition was stiff. Like this is the best player in your state. Like maybe went 3-2 for the weekend type of a thing. In the World Championships. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's it's amazing play. Even if you went 0-4, you were playing against a lot of the best players in the world. So like there's no shame in that. You can I don't think there's anything wrong with any of that play. And I think everyone had a great time even if they didn't, have the showing that they wanted. And there was always great events afterwards too. Like you could like there was good side events. They had the adversaries to allies, they had the team event, they had there was a second premiere event that took place as well. And our guy Liam Lamb Chop on Discord, he ended up playing Kit Fisto in the premiere
Yeah.
event, and he went 4-0 in the premiere event. So like he didn't make it to the cut. He missed the cut for top 32, but he ended up having a great showing in the premiere event. So it's like, man, there was like all sorts of great events and stuff like that. So like, even if you didn't do as well as you had wanted to do in maybe the World Championships, there was so much fun to be had. And they gave away so many boxes of prize support too. I don't know if you like I took a couple pictures. They just lined up like what, probably like 20, 30 boxes. I probably close to 30 boxes a day, and just like randomly drew like on the name generator and Longshanks is like, if I call your name, come up and pick a box. And like it would just go pick a box, go pick a box every day, given like, you know, 30, 40, like 20, I could say 20 to 30 boxes of Shatterpoint away every day. I mean, that's what you come to Adepticon for, is for that kind of stuff. I mean, and like even if you don't win, you always walk like it felt like at least everybody walked away with something. And the prize wall was great. So definitely like that's what I like about like the event was like, man, you could always come away with like you always got something. Everybody, like, even if you like you didn't do your best or like at that particular day, at least you were rewarded for showing up and having a good time, or at least meeting people and having a good time, like meeting new people. I loved meeting all the people we got to meet out there.
Oh, yeah, and that's not even talking about I keep calling it the vendor hall, but we were just in one giant room. I mean, it could be separated into different rooms to make them different halls, but we really were just in one giant room with the X-wing players next to us, the Armada players and Legion players kind of one was kitty corner to us, the other was across from us. All the MCP players were on the other side of us, and then that's not including like the learn. I almost forgot Unlimited. Unlimited players were also over by Armada. They were on the I think they're on the far side of Armada. That's just the one side of the room. Then you had the vendors. There were so many things going on. Like Monument Hobbies had that cool set that they worked on with AMG. The uh, so many games. I mean, I so much stuff, and then the whole other half of the room that's all the Games Workshop stuff that was going on, and that was just one hall, as Todd already talked about,
Right.
and it was massive, massive, just
Yeah.
it was great.
I didn't even realize it until I was listening to another podcast, wrapped under or trapped under plastic. I was listening to them, and apparently, like they were talking about the World Series of board games had a championship qualifier there. So basically, if you don't know what that is, sorry, just to go on a side tangent. Basically, they pick 16 different board games and they kind of rotate them throughout the year, and you play in different ones throughout the weekend. And basically, to win the championship, and if you win, you qualify to actually play at like the final World Series of or yeah World Series of board games type of a thing. But like usually like you play like Catan, Ticket to Ride, all those types of games, and play all those ones. But there was a qualifier for it at Adepticon as well.
Okay, see, I mean, there's so many things. Then like there was different food options too. There was several food options, and I could just keep I could keep going, but they're
Yeah,
like,
we could
just
talk
go
forever
try
on it.
it.
I mean, and if you want to talk more about it, you can definitely jump into our Discord and like talk to us more about it because and like I encourage like all the people that went, if you are in our Discord, share some pictures of all the cool stuff because I think like everybody kind of wants to know like and see all the cool stuff that happened. But I don't like I think we've been talking about this long enough. Do you have any closing thoughts about like our trip, Aubrey?
I just have to say it feels like our community is doing pretty good because it's still a young game. I feel like we're like the young upstarts trying to bustle in and like the MCP and the Games Workshop and even the other Star Wars games are like, oh, okay, kid, it's all right. Talk to me after you make it to talk to me after you make it to year 5. And my thing is like, I mean, just to echo what you were saying, like the meetup was great. Like I remember at one point Qui-Gon did and I were standing up on this little elevated platform where we were hanging out. And we're just going back and forth about Star Wars lore, and like I got to talk to chat about like Star Wars books for 40 minutes while you were off trying to find Will for the interview. And uh like it was just great. You got to see everybody's passion. Like people are passionate about different things. Like Izzy, he's like, I don't want to talk to you about a Star Wars book. Please don't make please don't make me. But he's a great player, and he plays the video games. He knows the stories, and like just as an example, I'm using Izzy as an example, but it's fun to see just how passionate everyone is, and on all levels. Like we of course got to see some of the behind the scenes stuff with like AMG and the Adepticon crew, and even just to hear them talk about it, because sometimes it can start to feel like work, right? Like gaming can suddenly become a job if you take it too seriously. But then you sit down next to next to somebody, one of the game developers or whatever. You start having this conversation about whatever, and then you get reminded, oh yeah, this is why we're here. It's because we're passionate about these
Mhm.
stories, we're passionate about the game. We we love what we're doing, and it felt like to me that, like, to get a little philosophical, it felt like a good reset, because sometimes you get caught in that hamster wheel of got to do the next thing, got to do the next thing, got to do the next thing. And this felt like we did the thing. We get a moment to just appreciate it all.
Yep. Well, and I guess for my closing thought, I mean, especially kind of like following up on that, is like where we are, the community. We are a young community, and I want our community to continue down that road of positivity that we've been going down, and it seems to be growing. And there always can be a bad apple. I mean, like you have that in every community, and everything like that. Sometimes you have those players that just take it too seriously and get too aggressive in the game and just like get really too involved in it. And I encourage like if you have those players in your community, I don't want to get rid of them, but let's maybe like help them understand, the community that we're trying to build, because we're trying to be a community of of fun and happiness and encouragement. So like, and sometimes you, like I said, sometimes you get caught up in those moments and you just like get super aggressive, you get super into it, and maybe you don't show the best side of you. And I would encourage every person that's out there to like, as we're playing this game, continue to be the best person you can be the best opponent you can be, so that we all enjoy, working together and playing together and everything along those lines. So I guess that's kind of like my thing, is like, I want to see our this we're building a great community, and I want to see our community to continue to grow in that positive light. So I encourage all of us, I think, to continue to do this amazing growth, so this game is around for a long time, and we continue to want to be around and play with one another more often.
Yeah. All right. You're getting one more thing from me then, because that is what I saw. No, no. Overall, for the most part, I mean, there was a couple of situations, but for the most part, what I love seeing and what I enjoy about this game is it is also just physically hard sometimes to play this game, like all the way to conclusion, and to get everything to it to where you intend the game to go. And talking about that intention all the time, over and over, all weekend long, I saw players go, "You're intending to do that. Let me help you get under that gantry or over this point, or just hand me your model. I'm going to put you want him right there, right? I'm going to put him right there." So I just love the collaborative nature of these tabletop games, but also that requires us to remember that. That requires us to talk to each other. That requires us to remember, even when it gets stressed. Like I can't imagine remembering everything I'm supposed to do and handling it at the level of play that we were seeing. And from beginning to end, you saw, for the most part, players helping each other, working together, getting the conclusion. And over and over, I heard him say, I don't want the clock to decide this, or I don't want, because we messed up a measurement or we did a thing. I don't want that to be the reason why this
Mm.
game was decided the way it was. And so it was good sportsmanship.
Yep,
It was
good
nice to see.
sportsmanship. If you're not doing the good sportsmanship stuff, you know what? You got to get right. You got to get on board with it. You got to start being join the good side of things and be a good player and be a good teammate and a good opponent. So yeah, do that thing.
And and reminder, people can learn that. Anecdotally, I know a person who was kind of abrasive and not very nice and not very good at the game, and and a lot of people would just grumble, 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 grumble. I'm not dealing with this. And then somebody finally took that person aside. Basically, was like, "We're not gonna let you keep acting this way. This is what you need to do." I mean, it kind of a come to Baby Yoda moment, but guess what? That person actually listened and actually
Mhm.
stopped doing those things and actually improved. Oh, and guess what happened? They actually finally started getting better at the game because everyone was nicer and more helpful, and they were able to grow. So just just because you had a bad experience with a person, or maybe you've had a few. I mean, don't get me wrong. I had a few bad experiences with the person I'm thinking of here. They grew, they learned, they changed. So we just keep
There's
learning,
hope
just
for
keep growing,
there's hope for
and give
people. There's
people.
hope for people.
Yeah, yes, yes. I like this person I'm thinking of. I'm like, hey, now did they still get grumbly sometimes? Yeah, sure, fine, but it was no longer the norm, so I'll
Yeah,
take
I mean, I've had my moments. I've had my moments too. I mean, we all do. But yeah, so on that thought, I do again want to thank all of our listeners. You guys are amazing. Thank you, each and every one of you, for tuning in and listening to the ramblings of Aubrey and myself. Like, without you, I think we'd just be talking to no one. So I do appreciate that. If you want to support the podcast, the best way to do so is become a patron. You can definitely do so by following the link in the description below. But if that's not for you, we definitely understand that. You can also support us by rating, reviewing the podcast on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. Those 5-star reviews definitely help. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, you can like, subscribe, give us a follow, all that good stuff, and let us know that we're doing. Leave a comment, let us know what you think, or I do look at all the comments and take those to heart. And if there's room for improvement, a worthwhile comment that gives me like, how can you improve, not just you suck, but like telling me what I can do to improve and like what you think could be done to improve, I listen to it and take that into account and decide whether that's going to be the road I want to go. So definitely we'll listen. I look at all of that. I take all that feedback. Constructive criticism, that's the word I'm looking for. If you give me constructive criticism, I'm always willing to hear it. So no, I do definitely, like I said, always appreciate each and every one of you. And as always, may the force be with you.
May the force be with you.